Hey guys, thanks for tuning in with me again. I want to thanks for the opportunity. Thank you guys for your time. I know you're busy and you decided to spend a couple seconds with me here today. So today I just wanted to reach out and speak about why I think that the CCA craft is the most important craft. However, it is extremely underpaid. Right. So I know with older carriers, people from the tier one days, mid-tier carriers that understand after 2016, this doesn't apply to you. But I see a lot of comments of people saying, "Oh, get another job, right? If you don't like what you get paid, that's fine. Just go work somewhere else." And that's a little insensitive, and for the reason that at the end of the day, we all do the same thing. Okay, we scan packages, we load trucks, we deliver mail, we serve the customer. Okay, just because someone started in 1996 compared to someone starting in 2023, it doesn't matter. Okay, someone is starting a federal job at $18 or $19. That's the core crux of the issue. When I see a carrier say, "Oh, live within your lifestyle, stop doing this, stop doing that," you're missing the whole point. You are missing the whole point. I don't want to go there, but I'll step into it for a second. If this job was to pay what the starting rate is today when you started, maybe someone would have told you the same thing, right? Oh, start another job, right? But chances are it was a better paying job back then. I'm talking pre 2011. Many people, or as I should speak for myself, I jumped into this career thinking that it was a great paying job because that was the perception of this mail carrier job. You know, growing up, I saw Dave the mailman, and that was a job to aspire to. After having did the job for a couple months, I understood where I was coming from in my life, and I was grateful. I am a grateful person with every opportunity. Okay, I encourage people to take this job because I can see the long term goal. I can see that you progressively get a raise every single year under a contract, which we are not under. You would not only get a step increase, you also get two cost of living increases. That is amazing. There's not too many other jobs that offer that security. Okay, we are guaranteed a raise as long as we stay employed. Another perk of this job is the benefits, whether you take them or you don't. Okay, but for someone to say, "Oh, if you don't like the starting pay, quit, start another job," I don't think the starting pay is fair. However, the problem is if they increase the starting pay, they have to increase the pay throughout the scale. Okay. Now, I'm all for everyone. I'm all for union. I'm all for the membership. However, if I'm being 100% honest, if I see someone walk off of the street and they start making 25 bucks an hour and I make 22, I'm going to be a little bit upset about that. And I know everyone else will too. So that is the crux of the problem. Yes, CCAs are underpaid, but that makes everyone else underpaid if they get a substantial increase in pay. So why are CCAs the most important part of, in my opinion, the most important position? Why? Because that's the future of this career. Okay, I was a CCA. I've only been converted for a year today. That's fucking nuts. Excuse my language. Oops. Probably gonna get canceled. Um, I've only been a CCA for a year today. Today is actually my hire day. That's amazing. Congratulations to me. Yeah, no. So, CCAs are the future of the union, are the future of the Postal Service. Okay, but yet we bash them. We push them down. We tell them how they're not worth anything, how they run and how they don't check the vehicle. They don't do the inspections anymore, how they don't do anything, how they're just the most horrible person in the world. And it is the wrong way to lead someone. That's the perfect way to lead someone to failure. It is a disservice when any carrier who has 10 or more years to speak down to someone that has potential to learn and soak everything as a sponge. The CCA is the apprentice to this craft. If we think that we are craftsmen, some of us are master craftsmen because we've been here for 28 years and we need no other prerequisite to achieve that title. But if you're a master craftsman, Why not teach the apprentice the way of the trades rather than blame the OJI that trained them and said, "Oh, you were trained horribly. You're not gonna make it here." And every time you see them, you discourage them. So what are they gonna do? They're just gonna go through the motions. They're not gonna want to stay for overtime. They're gonna destroy routes, right? Because that is the mentality. That is the toxicity that the post office has instilled in the mindsets of those who work there. So it's all right to pass on toxicity to haze, right? But no, that's wrong. That's completely wrong. The CCA is going to be who you are today in 10, 20 years, okay? So if we're not providing knowledge and leadership and leading by example and showing them how to correctly carry a route, then we're doing a disservice ultimately to the American people. Because when we get complaints on our routes, it's for someone filling in our route when we're not there. And I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, letter carriers are rude. They say they don't have to do this, they don't have to do that," because we have created an entitled CCA who thinks that they don't fit in with the membership, which is us, or the postal employees. They don't fit in with the old timers. And then the mid-tier carriers are just floating by too. So who does the CCA rely on? You know, I mean, the CCA is basically in his own little island until he becomes a regular. And then the resentments that he has coming into the regular ship, I mean, come on now. You know, it's like you're not just magically gonna forget what you did for 2 years and how you were treated for 2 years just because you became a regular. The way that management treated you, the way that your own peers treated you. So yes, the CCA is the most important position. CCA is extremely underpaid. Um, CCA has the power to change the union. And that is the most underestimated power of the CCA. And that may be why the CCA is the most important person. I don't know exactly the wording of it, but I was reading briefly, just real briefly. Do not quote me, okay? Do not. But I know there's a certain percentage of CCAs that are allowed to be hired in offices, okay? So whatever that number is, that is an amount of votes when it comes to uh, things pertaining to union. Okay, why do you think that during our CCA trainings, the union rep is already there to sign us up for the union because they understand. Well, it could be because of dues, right? But no, they understand that this is an active paying dues member, which makes them a part of the union. And then if you, as a CCA, go to your first union meeting, you take an oath and you raise your hand in front of the whole membership and they accept you. However, I've personally, as a CCA, went to like 2 or 3 union meetings, and I must say I didn't see any other CCAs there. I think that there needs to be a, a cohort, if that's the correct word. I think CCAs need to stick with CCAs, but they need to be led by a junior carrier such as myself or someone who is not too far away from being CCA, but yet is close enough with the old timers to understand the how the job works. You know, it takes a while to understand the job, but I think there has to be a bridge. Okay, I don't think that I don't think we throw the young into the wild and expect them to survive if they don't know tricks and techniques. It's easy to blame people on their mistakes. It's hard to lead people and show them the way. Okay, um, guys, as much of issues that we are dealing with, everything leads towards this unity. Okay, the last thing that I want to campaign is this unity. I am all about bringing uh, unity, collectiveness, as a craft, as one, as a whole. And shame on anyone who puts down the CCA. It's time to lift each other up, and that could be on the workroom floor, that could be in the union room, that could be in anything that relates to the craft in general. That could be having outside picnics for all I care. You know what I mean? Let us figure out ways to unite, guys. We are one. One is all. You know, we need to stop separating and stop allowing division because at the end of the day, we have more in common than we don't. Anyway, guys, that was a rant of why the CCA may be the most important position in the post office, or at least in our craft. Like I said, I'm coming hot off the press. I did my time as a CCA. I actually started less than what the starting rate is now, but it all equals out because I know CCAs when I was a CCA that they were just converting and they started even less. They started at $17. But because everything that's happened, one thing you have to understand as a CCA is you start at a rate, but the pay scale is already set for the rest of your career. And every time we get a raise, that just adds on to the pay scale. So even though you're making $19 now, the minute you convert, you go to 22.13. Then whatever raise we get over here, that becomes the new starting pay for the city carrier. So you may start at $24. Who knows? And that's the last thing I want to finish with. A lot of older carriers, a lot of junior carriers in the 10 to 12 year mark, they say, oh, well, you guys make more than we did when we started. And that may be true. We may make more, but don't forget the money's not worth the same of what it was back then. $20 3 years ago was a lot more than $20 today. $17 3 years ago was probably worth what $20 is worth today. So that I do think that the government and the postal service, I think they know how to keep everything up for inflation. Like on my last video, when I made a comparison from the pay rate from today to 2011, when you really do the math, the money is the same amount. It's kept up for inflation. That's why I said you haven't received a raise, or we haven't received a raise, because we literally just kept up with inflation. So there hasn't been any dramatic or substantial increase in our pay. However, the longer you stick around, then the next dilemma becomes bigger issues. That's why I said pay may not be the biggest issue, and I know I caught a lot of flack about that. But guys, there's a lot of things that are going on, with scanner data, protecting our job. Like a lot of carriers, especially younger carriers, because of lack of mentorship from old school carriers, we're not protecting our jobs. They're not doing what we need to do in the morning to keep our office time. That's extremely important to distinguish street functions from office functions. We have to do a better job at encouraging any carrier that we see not doing what needs to do to protect our craft, because ultimately if we don't have a job to do, there's nothing to fight for anyway, guys. So anyway, thanks, like I said, for spending some time with me today. Until next time, I'll be here, you'll be there. Peace.